Hey everyone, and welcome. So today, we're getting into something we've all wondered about, the science of attraction. We're going to break down the psychology and the expert advice on how to get your crush to finally notice you.
You know that feeling, right? When it seems like you are completely invisible to the one person you want to see you the most. Yeah, you are definitely not alone in that. So the big question is, how do you go from being just part of the background to actually being on their radar? Well, that is exactly what we are going to unpack today.
All right, we've got a game plan. First, we'll dive into the real kind of primal science of what makes people attractive. Then we're going to talk about why being yourself is your secret weapon. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of sending the right signals. And finally, we'll look at how you can turn that little spark into a real, genuine connection.
Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, the science of attraction. We're starting with those subtle, almost subconscious cues that our bodies pick up on, sometimes long before a real conversation even happens.
So first up, let's talk about something you might not even realize is a factor: scent. I mean, according to Psychology Today, smell plays a massive role in sexual chemistry. And we're not just talking about perfume here. Our bodies actually send out these subconscious, scent-based signals that can help us, find a good match.
And listen, this isn't just some pop psychology fad. Evolutionary psychologist Randy Thornhill basically confirms it. He says it's totally expected that our sense of smell is tangled up with our romantic and sexual behaviors. It's fundamental to how we're wired.
So here's the key takeaway, and this is important. When it comes to scent, more is definitely not better. The goal is a subtle, natural, pleasant scent. Going overboard with cologne or perfume, that can be a huge turnoff. It could actually push away the very person you're trying to attract. So just be mindful of that.
Okay, so let's move from smell to sight. And believe it or not, one of the most powerful tools you have in your arsenal is your smile. Seriously, a genuine positive attitude is incredibly magnetic. And there's some really cool science to back this up. A study in the Personality and Individual Differences Journal found that we literally see faces as more attractive if we think the person behind them is positive. So the personality traits we want in a partner can actually change how we physically see their face. A smile? That's the fastest way to signal that awesome positivity. So we've touched on the primal stuff, those subconscious signals of scent and the power of a smile. But here's the thing, the absolute key: real attraction is all about authenticity. And that brings us right to Section 2, be your authentic self. This is all about understanding that attraction isn't about changing who you are. It's about having the confidence to be exactly who you are.
Just think about it for a second. You want your crush to like you, right? The real you. That means you shouldn't hide your goofy side, or your weird little quirks, or your specific sense of humor. It's all about having the confidence to just enjoy being yourself. That's what's truly attractive.
Relationship expert Laurel House just hits the nail on the head here. She says that a real connection only happens when you decide to be vulnerable. And that means being open, being honest, and not being scared to let your guard down and show who you really are. Yeah, it's a brave move, but it's the only path to building something real.
And a huge part of being authentic is letting your sense of humor shine through. Research totally backs this up. A study out of the University of Kansas found that when you see two people laughing together, it's one of the best predictors of a romantic spark. Sharing a laugh is like a direct line to a deeper connection.
Okay, so you're embracing who you are, sharing your real humor, your quirks, all that good stuff. You're building a solid foundation. Now it's time to build on it. Welcome to Section 3, sending the right signals. We're shifting gears here from just being attractive to actively showing that you're interested.
Let's start with something that's simple, but oh man, is it powerful: a sincere compliment. Dating coach Bobby Palmer says this is one of the clearest ways to signal that you're into someone. Just notice something you genuinely appreciate about them, their laugh, their style, anything, and tell them. It's a small thing that can make them wonder if maybe you're more than just friendly.
All right, beyond what you say, your body language is practically shouting. Relationship coach Michelle Freely points to physical touch as a huge sign of romantic interest. So things like a brief, casual touch on the arm while you're talking, or leaning in a bit closer to show you're really engaged, and holding eye contact for just a beat longer, like a full 3 seconds, all of that can completely shift the vibe from friendly to flirty.
So all these signals, the compliment, the touch, that longer gaze, they're basically invitations. They're opening the door. But what happens when your crush actually walks through it? Well, that leads us perfectly into our final section, Section 4, from crush to connection. You've got their interest, now let's talk about how to fan that spark into a real flame.
One of the absolute best ways to build a real bond is also one of the simplest. Remember the little things they tell you. This isn't just about hearing words. It's about actively listening and showing that what they say actually matters to you. As dating expert Julie Kafik puts it, when you bring up those small details they've shared with you before, it sends such a powerful message. It tells them loud and clear that you were really paying attention and that you care enough to remember. It makes them feel seen and valued, which is, the foundation of any great relationship.
Now here's a wild tip, and it's backed by neuroscience. If you're ever nervous and don't know what to say, just get them to talk about themselves. Research shows that when we talk about ourselves, it's called self-disclosure, it actually activates the reward centers in our brain. It releases dopamine, that feel-good chemical. So it literally makes people feel good just to be in a conversation with you.
And for our last tip, here's one you might not expect. Think about going on a double date. Yeah, I know it sounds a little counterintuitive, but research from the Society of Personality and Social Psychology found that hanging out with another couple can actually make you and your potential partner feel closer. It just creates this great environment for more personal, emotional conversations, and that really strengthens your bond.
So, there you have it. From subconscious scent cues all the way to the neuroscience of a good conversation, getting noticed is this fascinating mix of science and just being your authentic self. But catching their eye is really just the beginning. The real question is, once you have their attention, what kind of connection are you going to build? Thanks for joining me.